Hey everybody, and welcome to Don't Copy That Floppy. It's Friday, August 5th. We are a video game news podcast starring Lex.
And Dan.
Dan, don't be shy.
You introduced yourself twice.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
I wasn't even
No,
paying
wait,
attention.
did you?
I don't think I did.
No, you didn't. I'm just used to saying I'm your host Lex first. This new thing with the date is really messing with me, man.
We're gonna get there.
I'll get to it. Maybe next week. Maybe next week I'll understand our intro.
Anyway, you can find us on all sorts of social media, including media such as Facebook, Twitter, Steam, YouTube, and iTunes.
Yes.
More importantly than any of those, forget all those.
Forget it.
Forget, only one you have to remember is that we are now on Patreon.
Yep.
And if you can support us on Patreon, that would be awesome. We have all sorts of cool rewards. You can vote on stories week per week. You get additional podcast content where we talk about only non-video game things.
Yeah, we have a strict gag order on video game topics.
Yeah.
We're in that
last
bonus content
bonus content, we talked about Stranger Things.
Yep.
And how much we loved it. And how
Even though I
amazing.
had not finished it at that point. I have finished it now.
Oh, good.
That's really good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you texted me about that.
Yeah.
But
finished it.
But yeah, so please check us out there. There's all sorts of cool rewards, and it would be awesome if you could support the show. If we can get a little more money, we can start a Twitch channel, and then you can see Dan play video games all the time.
Yeah. I'm kind of good at them.
Sometimes.
I should stream. I know what I'm going to stream. I'm going to stream Wonderful 101.
Can you...
I'm going to marathon all of Wonderful 101 in one sitting.
That'd be great.
Stream.
Can you find a way to stream your handheld, like Monster Hunter?
There's totally a way to do it, but it's really weird.
Okay.
All I know about it is it's complicated.
Well,
I should look into it,
If we get enough money to do Twitch, we're going to find a way.
I'll stream Monster Hunter, and I think I'm pretty good at Monster Hunter, but I guarantee you if we stream it, everybody's going to say, wow, you're terrible at Monster Hunter.
Oh, yeah.
Because I wear full armor sets, like some kind of heathen.
What?
I know, you don't even know what the problem there is.
I don't even know, because all I know is Diablo logic, in which you should wear full armor sets.
I'm not a clown suitor. Not a clown suitor like all the good players. But maybe I'm just good enough that I don't need to.
But yeah, so what are we talking about in video game news from this week, Dan?
We have an update on a neat little Kickstarter we talked about last week that is ending in just 6 hours.
Oh my god.
That's exciting. And we have good news about it.
Yeah.
We have a little bit of info about Star Wars Galaxy in Turmoil.
Little update.
Indie Star Wars project that's bad. I mean, the project isn't bad, but the news is bad.
Oh, yes.
We have a little bit of stuff about No Man's Sky, a little bit about Pokemon Go. We've been talking about Pokemon Go a lot, so we're trying to cut down on it.
Keep the Pokemon to a minimum.
But we have a decently major thing to talk about with that. A little bit about Overwatch. Some new info came out of QuakeCon about the new Prey game,
Ooh.
which is actually pretty cool, including a new little trailer that's in-game engine. And we have our listener-voted story this week, which is
it's a delight, I think.
It's an interesting one. And then we will end off with a look at video games that are coming out soon and that just came out, and maybe give our opinions a little bit on some of those. I still kind of want to talk about, if we end up having time towards the end, I want to talk a little bit about Inside.
Oh,
I beat it before last week's show, but we didn't have any time for me to, tell a little bit about my experience with it.
All right.
That'd take 3 minutes if we got it. And we are chatting, starting now, on shipit.net.
Yeah, check out that site. It's
You
great.
can talk to us live during the show. Oh, wait, no you can't. Because don't we have to broadcast this later? No, we're broadcasting it live because the website is working again.
Yes.
I'm really out of it, man.
You are, because
the website was down for a little bit right before we started recording.
But then it was up.
But then it's up. It's up. So come chat if you feel like it. So let's start off. Kickstarter. Pray for the old gods.
Pray for the gods.
Pray for the gods.
There's no Lovecraft in here.
I'm man. Maybe you should just do all the talking today.
Pray for the Gods, Kickstarter that started a month ago.
Yep.
For this awesome little sort of Shadow of the Colossus type game. We talked about it at length last episode.
It's like a current gen spin on on Shadow of the Colossus in a lot of ways.
And its goal was 300K.
Yep.
And last episode when we talked about it, it had a week left and it had made that goal. I think it was at 350 or 330.
330-ish.
Something like that. Right now, as Dan said in his little tease at the beginning of the show, 6 hours to go on this. And since last week, it's gone from 330 to 478.
Yeah. So that's pretty good. And just before the show started tonight, both of us had checked it out, and it was around like 450 or 455. So it's made a pretty big jump in just the last hour or two. And people are still throwing dollary dues at it right now.
It had already met some of its stretch goals, but the ones that it has completed as of now is there's going to be additional weapons, which is pretty cool.
Yep.
There's going to be a Mac version, so this is now going to come out on Xbone, PS4,
yep,
and Mac, and also I assume it's on PC, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Because
there's also additional animations too, for bosses and your character.
Also, after hitting the 450 mark, it's going to now have an orchestral score,
which is really good news.
It is really good news because, with this kind of game, with the epic scale,
you want to have that.
Yeah, you
really want to have that. And when we were looking at the stretch goals last week, they go up to $1 million.
Yeah.
In intervals of like 50,000. And when I was looking at it last week, I was like, well, it's not going to make it to $1 million. There's like no way that they'll have that big of a push. So where would I really want it to get to, at least? And I think orchestral score at 450 was like the one I wanted it to get to.
Yeah.
I would have been really disappointed if it hadn't gotten there. At this rate, it may be able to hit 500k, but...
Get those expanded environments.
Get some underground caves put in this game. Which would be neat. But if it doesn't make it to that, then, it'll be fine. But this game looks really cool. There's a cool trailer for it up on the Kickstarter that you can check out. If you feel like it, throw a couple bucks their way. And other than that, eagerly await its release at the end of 2017.
And if you're listening to this episode in recording, this has already ended. But you should still check it to just see what it ended up with.
Yeah.
It's worth checking.
And just check the game out. Maybe it's something you'd be interested in.
Yeah.
The designs for the creatures and everything are really cool.
Oh, so cool.
They're super spooky looking. I like them. Star Wars Battlefront 3 was almost a thing.
Almost back in the day.
There was some
back
leaked
in
footage.
2008 or something.
Yeah, there was some leaked footage, and then it all kind of disappeared.
Yeah, there were management problems, and the studio that was working on it got taken off the project when it was almost finished. You can see E3 footage from I want to say 2008.
It's recorded on a video camera.
Yeah, they had gameplay.
Yeah,
so it was pretty much done. Anyway, it didn't come to be. And as we reported on, I want to say a few months ago, maybe this studio that I'm forgetting the name of, I think out of Russia or something.
Frontwire Studios.
Decided they got a hold of all the assets from Battlefront 3.
Yep.
And we're going to make Battlefront 3, and we're going to rename it Galaxy and Turmoil, because why not? And they showed a bunch of their gameplay, and they were nearing completion on it, polishing it up. It didn't look nearly as nice as the current DICE-made Battlefront.
Right.
But it did have all sorts of cool features that game did not have, such as
flying from ground on the planet up into space, seamlessly.
Get some orbital combat in there.
That's really cool.
It's super cool, because that was something, again, in the original gameplay footage from E3 of Battlefront 3, it showed you could do.
Yeah. So,
we all knew that code was in there. But, yeah, so they were like, yeah, this is great. And then EA was silent. And we were like, wow, that's weird. And then they got a deal with Valve to put it up on Steam, and it was gonna be free. They weren't gonna make any money off of it. And EA continued to be silent, and we said, wow, that's really weird.
This is suspicious.
And then, actually, having to do with that, one of the things that the studio said, after they got up on Steam was they sort of implied on one of their posts that Steam would, support them legally if, legal stuff was leveraged against the game.
Right.
They had to post something apparently the next week saying no, we didn't mean that. You're misinterpreting what we said. No, so we're just up on Steam, but they weren't going to give us any legal protection. And I was like, okay. And as of this week, August 1st, it was reported that EA finally stepped in and put the kibosh on Galaxy and
Well,
Turmoil.
according to the president of the studio, they had actually received the cease and desist letter back in June. But they've been trying this whole time to negotiate a way for it to continue, but apparently that has not worked. Because it's done.
So the cease and desist letter was under wraps.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, apparently they talked to LucasArts or Lucasfilm about it, and they said, hey, this is what we have so far, and like, what if like you guys released it with us, and then we can put it behind like EA's paywall so that you guys can make money off of it and all this stuff. And apparently Lucasfilm was like super into that idea, and that's why I guess there was so much time between when they got the cease and desist and now, because there was actually negotiations about this. But then EA stepped in and they were like, whoa, dude, Disney gave us exclusive rights to make games with this. You're another studio that aren't us. You can't make this game. And Lucasfilm was like, yeah, no, our hands are tied. Sorry.
And now they're saying they still want to make a game, but they're going to be like removing all the Star Wars stuff.
This is the most interesting part about this, and it's sort of the hopeful part about it too, right? It means this game will take way longer to come out. Yeah. But they are going to make sort of a generic sci-fi game where nothing's going to have Star Wars names and everything's going to have its like skins redesigned and stuff, so it won't look like Star Wars stuff. But otherwise, the gameplay should be exactly the same. Yeah,
they've said they're still going to have 64-player battles, ground-to-space combat, destructible capital ships, and a full single-player campaign. And it will remain a free game to be released on Steam.
So that's kind of awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean...
That's fine.
Yeah, we still don't know when we're going to see that game.
Yeah.
So it's probably going to be a ways away. But this is the kind of thing where now they could charge for it if they wanted to. Yeah. Or they could do a Kickstarter or something, and there wouldn't really be any conflict of interest.
I think it seems like the guy wants to keep the promises he sort of made to the people who wanted this game.
I mean, that's admirable.
Even though, like, it is admirable, but he totally doesn't need to do it anymore.
No, he totally doesn't.
Like, they could totally just make a cool game and sell it. I wouldn't blame him.
And sell it for $5.
Because I get making it all free if you're using someone else's IP. That makes sense. Yeah. You shouldn't make money off of it. But as soon as you're not doing that anymore, like, no, you should get money for your hard work.
Yeah, especially since they're doing more hard work now to create a bunch of original assets for the game.
So we'll see.
And plus, like, if they put a game out like this, like, even if it had, like, Xbox 360 graphics, but you could do all the stuff that you're supposed to be able to do in this.
Right.
Like, they put that out for, like, like $3, $5 on Steam. Sure.
Yeah,
everybody's gonna buy that. And then you're gonna make some money, and this is gonna be great.
Everybody makes some money.
So, you know what? What was his name?
Something Romanelli?
Tony Romanelli. Oh my god, is he from Jersey?
He's from Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, he's a Grand Theft Auto character. No, but, Tony Romanelli, just charge a little. You could do it.
Just charge like $10 for your game.
Oh, I should also point out that this was an article from Escapist magazine.
Yep, on the 1st of August.
Yep.
Marvel Ultimate Alliance and Ultimate Alliance 2 came out on PC a little while ago.
A little bit ago. We reported last week that it was a horrible disaster.
It was a giant mess. It sucked. It cost $40. What the hell?
Cost $40 to buy a game that was a decade old.
And didn't work.
And that there was already a PC version that worked that had come out of it.
This was the Steam version.
That was supposed to have better graphics, even though it, like, didn't really.
But they put out a patch.
Okay, so they put out a patch.
Activision put out a patch.
And I believe they just patched the first one? They haven't patched the second one yet.
Yep, and they have controller mapping changes and fixes. Improvements to audio, so the game doesn't just crackle violently at you every so often.
That was one of the big things that people were talking about, where, like, the audio levels would fluctuate, they would crackle, and they would echo. So it was basically just horrible.
Yeah. Improvements to player invitations and just UI fixes and updates for like desync issues when you're online and stuff like that. So they also said the DLC for the first game, which was not included in this release for whatever reason, both the standalone and bundled versions of Ultimate Alliance 2 feature all of its original DLC. We are still working on making the DLC for the first game available in the coming weeks as a free update. So that's good. They are planning on giving it to people.
So I think that, and this is an article from Video Games 24/7 from August 4th. And it was a little confusing like, I think that the only thing they still need to do is add the DLC for Marvel Ultimate Alliance 1.
Yeah.
But the way I was reading it, it seemed a little unclear as to whether all of this controller mapping and UI fixes and audio improvements were to both games or to just Ultimate Alliance 1. Mm-hmm. I wasn't super sure. I think it's to both games.
I would assume it's both.
I mean, it should be to both.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna assume Activision like did the right thing. So
right.
But this is good that
they actually are fixing this quickly.
Yeah. Apparently, someone like Marvel has a video games division, which were originally involved in making this game, and I don't think they were involved with the port at all. But there was all this fan outrage and a lot of things on Twitter. And I guess the head of the Marvel video games division was, people yelling at him on Twitter. And he was like, listen, guys, I understand this is unacceptable. Let me go talk to some people. And he did. And then the next day, they were like, hey, we're going to put out a patch and fix it. So I guess all you need to do is bother high enough people on the totem pole on Twitter. And Activision will actually fix stuff. But it's also one of those things where, like, this obviously wasn't hard. Because it took them literally days to do this patch.
Yeah. Yeah. It obviously was not a difficult fix to make.
They were just too lazy to begin with to figure out how to make a
maybe
working
people
board.
Wouldn't care.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe people just won't care.
Because why would they care? Still no word on whether they will drop the price to a reasonable price. I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, don't hold your breath.
But, something happened. So, the internet had a small victory yesterday.
Indeed. Always good. Let's talk about No Man's Sky. Got some No Man's Sky info. So this is a lot of the whole beginning of the show is just updates to older stories, specifically last week's stories. This is, I think, the last of those. Last week we reported on how No Man's Sky was purchased for $1,300. Not $13,000. $1,300 via eBay by a guy who goes by username Damien. I assume his real name is Damien, just spelled correctly. I bet it's not even.
It probably isn't.
His name's like Roy or something.
Well, her name's really Roger, but Damien just sounded cool.
It sounds cool, especially when I spell it cool.
Yeah, it would seem more Edgemaster than the name. Damien. But no, so he purchased it ahead of time, ahead of launch.
Yep.
And he had been playing it,
early.
And he was posting some gameplay and some thoughts on the game.
Post that much. He posted like a video of himself like unboxing it and like starting the game in like the first hour or so.
Now I'm gonna preface this by saying, I believe you're in the same boat, that we did not watch any of the gameplay he posted.
No, because we want to play the freaking game.
Yeah, and we don't want it spoiled.
Yeah.
So there's But
a lot of people have watched it. And
according to reports, he did not post a huge amount.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't looked for updates, but last I heard he'd only posted like 1 or 2 videos on Dailymotion. Mm-hmm. But he has apparently, according to himself, reached the center of the universe in No Man's Sky, which is supposed to be like the goal of the game, kind of. Yeah. Like the end goal. And he said it could be done in roughly 25 to 30 hours if the player knows what they're doing. So, basically, he says there's this resource players can gather that fuels really powerful hyperspace jumps, and it's not that rare, so you can hit planets quickly, gather the resource, and jump forward great distances. So you can cover a huge chunk of the game in a small amount of time. He says that he got about halfway to the center, and 30% of that distance has just been from the last few hours. And he said that with a YouTube video explaining how to do this, he thinks someone could reach the center in no time, 20 to 30 hours easy. So, this seems weird to me, that this resource is so common in the game, whatever it may be. And it strikes me as something that is in place in the game prior to its release to facilitate testing and reviews and things like that.
I would counter that by saying, if it's something to facilitate testing, why isn't it just a cheat code that you can enter in? Like, why make it be a resource that you?
Which is why I also say reviewing. Yeah, because they're not going to give a debug code to reviewers. Mm-hmm. Reviewers, who I should also mention, reviewers aren't going to be allowed to review this game before it comes out. There's no review copies being given out until release day.
Wow.
So
isn't Sean Murray just...
They really want to keep it under wraps.
Yeah.
And Sean Murray has said that him and the rest of the team have been working on a big patch for day one to fix a bunch of glitches, because this guy who's been playing it also says the game is full of bugs.
And that's, you
that's
can't get upset about that, because it's a AAA game that's coming out in 2016.
And you're playing it 2 weeks early.
Yeah.
Like, 2 weeks before you're supposed to be. So that's whatever. Something about this just strikes me as counter to what they were saying about the game, especially what Sean Murray was saying of, like, I want people to take their time and I want people to explore the galaxy.
Yeah.
Because he has to know, he's not an idiot, he has to know that if he wants people to take their time and explore the galaxy in this game, giving them the means to rush to the end, people are going to do it.
Oh, they totally are.
So you don't. You just don't.
Yeah.
So the fact that this option exists in the game, according to this guy, strikes me as fishy.
My assumption here is that he's telling the truth, but it's one of those things where the team behind No Man's Sky, Sean Murray and company, which is really just what his studio should be called, let's face it. Yeah. But what they did was they put in this resource and they just put in too much of it. Like, they did not realize that people would exploit it in this way, which, I mean, they should have assumed.
I don't get how developers don't understand that players are going to exploit every single possible exploitable thing in games like this.
This actually brings me to a really funny thing. The article we're talking about is from, like, Techno Buffalo from August 1st.
Yeah, but you can find this story, like, everywhere.
Yeah. And there was an article a day or so later on Polygon that was like, hey, you dumb idiots, you're not just gonna, like, No Man's Sky isn't just a 30-hour game, silly.
Yeah.
And they talked about how, like, listen, the whole galaxy would take, like, more years than we have to explore. Like, everyone's going to do that. They're not just going to rush towards the center. That's not how people are going to play the game. And I'm like, dude, that's exactly how people are going to play the game.
Some people aren't going to do that.
No, like I'm not going to do that.
We don't play our games that way, but, like, more than half the people playing this game are going to
definitely
blitz the center of the universe if they can.
Totally.
Especially if there's info out online of how to easily do it.
Yeah. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So, Polygon journalist, you're being a silly Billy.
You're being very naive about the gaming community. Like, I don't get how gaming press and developers don't understand this simple fact about gamers. If there is an exploitable mechanic in a game, it will be exploited.
Yes.
To death.
Yes.
Like, no matter what.
Have you seen any of the stories on Destiny that have come out?
Have you ever played any sort of massively multiplayer game in any way whatsoever? Oh yeah. Like, you get a bunch of people working on the same, especially now with the internet, so people can more easily communicate with each other and spread these exploits around.
Well, what was interesting, and I continue to give credit to Kojima for everything he does, but last week when we were talking about this, I think I mentioned it, or maybe I mentioned it in an older story about No Man's Sky, but I mentioned the playable teaser for Silent Hills.
Yes.
And how
PT.
It was so difficult to figure out how to beat it, but people were still able to beat it in a relatively short amount of time because the whole community just came together to try to beat it, which was great because that's what he was hoping people would do, and he made it so difficult that it took a long period of time for people to figure that out, and he was sort of counting on that, which was the neat thing about it. But it's one of those things that, like, don't assume the players won't do that because they'll totally do that.
Yeah, like that's it. Like I said, there's like a review embargo of sorts on this game right now. Sony is not going to be giving out review copies until they said there's going to be limited copies out by the time of the game's launch for review purposes. But apparently, according to this article on Destructoid, at least from today, there's more than one copy out there at this point because many retailers have broken street date on this game.
It's too hot.
So it's way too hot. And as they said on this article, it's kind of a perfect PR storm now. Because you have all these people smack-talking the game prior to release and saying, like, oh, it's not what everybody said it was going to be, but everybody's got an agenda with this game.
Well, here's the other thing, too, that this might have an effect that I like, which is if this causes people to cancel their pre-orders and then just buy the game after it's come out, I would actually be happy about that. And not because I want Sean Murray to lose money.
But because you hate pre-order hype?
I hate pre-order hype. It's really bad for the game industry, just in general.
Yeah.
So if we could kill some of that, I can only see good things. I
feel like this
overall.
can't possibly make that big of a splash, though, to really hurt.
Maybe not.
The model of pre-order.
That's one of the things
sales.
that I don't think those numbers were going to be released, of how that affected it. But if they are, I would love to report on that.
Yeah.
But I mean, we're going to know how No Man's Sky is looking.
I feel really it's weird with this game because it's one of all the games that have come out in the past several years since all this pre-order hype stuff started being a big thing, and there's like hype, the game's going to be amazing. Whoa, look at it! Oh my god, video game. No Man's Sky has had one of the strongest responses from the community of like, No Man's Sky is going to be amazing. It's going to be the greatest thing ever. Versus No Man's Sky is a complete pile of crap. It's going to suck. It's a terrible video game. It's going to be a glitchy mess, and it's not going to be fun. It's going to be boring. There's these two camps of people who are like viciously going at each other, especially now that this copy came out and this guy posted these videos. There's all the people like analyzing the footage, be like, look, see, there's all the reasons why this game sucks. And it's going to suck forever. And no one should like it. And there's all the people saying like, no, it's going to be really cool, you don't understand because they haven't patched it yet, and yada yada yada, blah 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 blah. Nobody like wants to just play the game anymore. Everybody just wants it to say like, it's the best game ever, or it sucks. Like, nobody's talking about just like, oh, it'd be neat, I can maybe do this. You just get all this, like, I don't know the right word for it, all of this fanfare and negativity, and just, it's ridiculous. Like, can we just wait for the freaking game to come out?
That's not the world we live in, Dan.
I know.
I'm sorry to say.
It's like, god damn it. Like, I'm not in either camp, because I'm like, I don't know how good this game's gonna be. I hope it's good, I want to play it. Yeah. But shit, I don't know. Like, maybe it'll suck. I don't freaking know. I'll find out though, because I bought it.
Well, we're gonna know on the 9th in a couple of days when it comes out for PS4. We're gonna read all about it.
Yep. Final Fantasy 15.
Oh, Final Fantasy 15. We
have talked about Final Fantasy 15. Not so sure about this game.
Guess what Final Fantasy 15 is getting?
A season pass.
A season pass.
A DLC season pass.
So, as reported from GameSpot from August 3rd, we know what's going to be in that season pass.
The season pass costs $85?
Yep.
Oh my god.
This includes a booster pack, episode
Gladiolus, holiday pack, episode Ignis, episode Prompto, and expansion pack.
So are those episodes like the animated show thing that they were talking about?
They are short stories starring individual characters. Because the main character is Noctis, and Gladiolus, Ignis, and Prompto are his like boy band buddies.
Their names are... we've talked about it before, but they're so out of place with like even the character design and the world design.
Everything is out of place with everything in that game. It's a complete mess of presentation.
Oh, okay. So even this article says the booster pack, holiday pack, and expansion pack, it's like unclear what those things are exactly. We just know that they're in there.
Yeah. Holiday pack's just going to be like Santa Claus outfits for all of them.
Oh, probably, yeah.
Sexy Santa Claus outfits.
Cindy's will be more conservative, but the rest of the characters will look sexier.
I just don't know about this game.
I mean, we already kind of hate season passes. With good reason, I think.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think we're justified in that.
Yeah, and Final Fantasy games, have they done this before? I don't recall them doing this before.
No.
I mean, instead, Final Fantasy...
FF14 gets tons of DLC and expansions, but that's because it's an MMO.
Well, yeah.
So, but other games, no.
I mean, the thing that they've done that was annoying is that they would make sequels to their Final Fantasy games.
Yeah.
Like 10-2 and stuff like that.
Hey, 10-2's gameplay is great.
I mean, yeah, no,
everything else about it, I don't know.
So that's weird, but that's not even close to the level of obnoxious
that 13 was.
The 13 was, or that DLC packs are. Right?
Yeah.
But so it's really disappointing that they're going the EA route with this.
Yep.
Or they seem to be, anyway. And we knew there was going to be all this extra content surrounding 15. Like, there's going to be a CG movie and, like, all these animated
there
TV
already
show
are
thing.
anime episodes out for it.
Oh, they are out
Yeah,
already.
there's a couple. There's more, though.
You know, I think we might have reported on them when they came out, and I didn't watch them because I did not want to.
Yeah, me too. I was like, wow, there's Final Fantasy 15 anime. I really don't care.
Yeah, no.
Especially seeing the screenshots, and it's just them eating French fries together.
Hey, potato parties are the best. If Japan got anything right, it's potato parties. Look it up.
FF15 season pass featuring potato party pack.
Hey, listen. If FF15 came with, like, a potato party coupon, I'd get that season pass in a heartbeat. Okay? But no, so we knew there was going to be all this additional content surrounding it. So I guess the season pass it's unfortunate, but not entirely unexpected considering the other stuff they've been doing. But it still feels like they have a really underwhelming game, and they're trying to make it sound better by releasing all of this additional stuff with it.
You know how Atlas advertised Persona 5 to assure us that it's a good game? By just showing us playing gameplay.
That was pretty good.
How about that?
Listen. Final Fantasy 15 showed us some gameplay too, and it was terrible.
It was full of QuickTime events.
It was played by someone who wasn't very good at it, and it seemed kind of glitchy.
Yep. Also, if you watch videos of it, it's very, like, there's no impact to it.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this in our E3 coverage at length, but it wasn't good.
It doesn't look great.
No.
And considering it's coming out in the same month as Persona 5, I think it's safe to say both of us are of the mind that it's gonna get blown out.
Oh, yeah.
Like, real bad.
That's happening.
Because you know what doesn't have a season pass? Persona 5. Because you get the whole goddamn game.
Yeah.
How about that?
But what about holiday costumes?
They'll just be in it.
It'll just be an unlock in the game.
Money that those will just be in Persona 5 already. Because why wouldn't they be?
You know what that reminds me of? All the Tony Hawk games.
Yeah, what about
from back in the day? You get all those cheat codes, you enter them in, and you get like Spider-Man skin for your skater. Oh, those were the days.
is that all?
You didn't have to pay an extra. You didn't have to shell out an extra $15.
Remember the one you could play as Darth Maul in?
Oh man,
that was weird.
That was some cross promotion right there.
Yeah, seriously.
Really a product of its time.
Neversoft Man. It's the big eyeball.
The big eyeball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
Neversoft. We miss you.
I like this story a lot.
Oh.
Because it just affirms everything I was saying about Telltale Games last week.
Batman, the Telltale Games thing.
Episode 1 came out on August 2nd.
And there was immediately a story in Polygon about it.
The Steam version of the game has been completely panned by players who are reporting issues. Many, many issues. A quote from included in this article on Polygon is, "You could have a PC built by Jesus Christ himself, and this game will still run at 10 frames per second."
I mean, he was a carpenter, so maybe that makes sense, I guess. Like, modern day carpenter.
Yeah, you might know how to put a computer together.
Yeah, totally.
So, some people have been calling the game 100% broken as of launch. Nearly 400 reviews have appeared on Steam since it hit the storefront the day of this article, with many buyers raising red flags about potential problems with its resolution, frame rate, and lag. Seems like all the problems that Telltale's had in all of their games.
And this
refuses to fix.
Yeah, this is unacceptable because, as we always talk about with every Telltale game that comes out, they don't change their engine. The graphics just look a little different, but that's the only thing that's different. I mean, with this, there's like a voting thing incorporated in it.
Yeah, but that's
not
if you're
playing
fixing
offline,
the game.
that doesn't even, So, the fact that you're using the same engine and you're the same gameplay with every game, and you still haven't fixed these issues.
Shoddily put together, glitchy games. Like, you can watch any Telltale game, and when it tries to replay, like, last time on Telltale's Batman, or whatever, like, all those scenes of, like, showing what you did in the last episode, they always stutter and lag and, like, have to load in and pop in. Like, how do you mess that up every time?
I'm nodding enthusiastically now.
He's nodding enthusiastically. It's like you said, it's not acceptable. It's beyond the point of being acceptable anymore. Like, as games came out from Telltale, like Walking Dead, it was good, but it was still a little glitchy. That's fine, whatever.
Yeah.
Because the Jurassic Park game was kind of glitchy too, and it's just...
And it was like, that was their first... It was fine.
That was their big break. But every single game, people have been like, oh, maybe this one will be, like, fixed. They all have had the same problems, and they've never been fixed. Every single one of them.
Come on, guys.
Like, what the hell?
This is like the kid in high school algebra, and he knows that he's got like a month left in the semester, and he just doesn't have to show up because his grades are good enough. It's not even... So
they seem to have patched the game to clear up many of the performance issues players have been experiencing, saying that investigations indicate many of these issues appear to be due to running the game on an integrated graphics card rather than dedicated, or were the result of out-of-date drivers. The PC patch will fix the game so that it defaults to the dedicated GPU and also adds graphic settings for better textures.
So they did patch it reasonably quickly.
Yeah, but the game probably still runs crappy anyway. It's just playable now.
And again, it shouldn't launch like that. Although this is a grievance we have with most AAA titles that come out these days. But it really shouldn't launch like that, you guys.
I think we have extra beef with Telltale just because this happens with all of their games.
Yeah, for the same reason that we have all the beef with...
and because all their games are so successful. They have the money to fix these problems.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, because we had this... we got... especially mad at the most recent Batman game, Arkham Knight, I think, because they had like a myriad of problems, and I'm like, come on, this is a huge studio with a super successful AAA franchise, and like
how do you screw this up?
Come on, guys,
you've made 2 successful games just like this one already.
Yeah,
what's going on? Like, it's bad. As far as the game goes, I don't know how good it's actually supposed to be.
There have been a lot of Twitch streamers streaming it. I have not watched them because I don't care about this game, dude.
I don't either.
I really don't. I might like, I don't know, maybe I'll play at some point. I don't know.
You don't sound particularly invested.
I really want to play it as a Bruce Wayne only playthrough. Because one of the ways they marketed it is you can play as Bruce Wayne or as Batman. You have those choices, and I'm like, I just want to play as Bruce Wayne because I want to prove that you can solve all of Gotham's problems through like philanthropy rather than crime fighting.
That would be hilarious if that's how you get like the best ending of the game.
Oh yeah,
it's by just never being Batman.
That would,
and then it's like, oh wow, I guess I was wrong all along.
It would be the least action-packed gameplay. But it would be the
so
best.
Weirdly satisfying.
Yeah, no, that's what I really want to do. That's why I want to play Telltale games.
But Batman. I bet you can't do that.
I think there's definitely going to be some parts
where you have to be Batman.
Yeah. Disappointing. But we'll see.
Remember, your choices change the game, except when we don't let them. Because we want the story to be the way we wrote it.
Yeah.
Pokemon Go.
We're going to talk about Pokemon Go. We got
to get it out of the way. We keep talking about Pokemon Go. My God. So, the only reason we're going to talk about it right now is because this past week, Pokemon Go has undergone some changes.
There was a patch, finally.
What did the patch fix? Nothing?
Not really anything.
Not really anything. It changed things.
It changed things.
The game remains broken. Yeah. The game continues to freeze and not register things correctly.
It was funny. There were reports of people being like, oh, it patched, and certain things that were broken for me started working again, but then other things that weren't broken became broken.
Niantic is not doing a good job with this game.
They're just dropping their spaghetti every which way.
They really are.
And they keep cooking up more spaghetti and then immediately dropping it all over the kitchen floor.
One of the big changes made was, this is an article from Polygon on the 2nd, that they removed the tracking for Pokemon.
So for those of you who haven't played Pokemon, which I understand is no one, but I don't have a smartphone and I've played Pokemon Go. But no, there's this whole system where it'll say, hey, these are some of the Pokemon nearby. And then it gives a little footstep indicator underneath each one. So there's
1 to 3 footprints.
1 to 3. So you know how far away they are. And if you start walking in a direction...
It'll like pulse.
Yeah. And
it'll tell you if you're going in the right direction or not.
And then it'll be like, oh, now if it was 3 footsteps and now it's only 2, so you're obviously closer.
Yeah.
And because that had been glitching out, because everything had been glitching out in some form or another, Niantic decided, hey, let's fix that by removing it.
Yep.
So now it tells you there are Pokemon in your general vicinity, but it does not tell you how close they are, so you have no way of knowing.
Yep.
Now, one of the other things that people were doing is because the footprints feature was not working very well before it was removed, and because this game was just so mega popular, there were a lot of third-party apps. There were a lot of third-party apps that were created that talked to Pokemon Go and figured out where all the Pokemon were in the vicinity, and then showed like a Google map and showed the pinpoint locations of all those Pokemon. Yes. Which admittedly is sort of cheating, and I understand that. But when Niantic released the patch, people were using these third-party apps because the game's regular thing to track Pokemon was not broken. Working. So they felt like the only way to track Pokemon was to use these third-party apps. And when the Niantic released this patch, they put a block for any third-party apps that are trying to access Pokemon Go. Yep. So now all of those apps are shut down. All those third-party ones.
Their PR explanation for this was that these apps were a big drain on Pokemon Go's servers.
Which doesn't...
I don't know if that makes sense or not.
Yeah, I don't know how true that is. I think that they could have just said that it's someone trying to capitalize on their game and they're not cool with that. Yeah. And I would have actually been okay with that explanation. Like, I understand it. It's just a slap in the face when they're like, well, now you have no way to track at all.
Yeah, it seems like a jerk thing to do when there's no other way to do it. Like, your game is broken and now you're stopping people from enjoying it.
Yeah. I mean, we know personally a lot of our friends have dropped it because they just don't want to keep dealing with the glitches.
Yeah. I mean, I play it a little bit every so often, but not much.
Now, Niantic was very quick to say, hey guys, we only took out footstep tracking because we're fixing it and we're going to put it back in later. Yeah. But we don't know when later is.
Well, they said, and I quote, the original feature, although enjoyed by many, was also confusing and did not meet our underlying product goals.
What?
We will keep you posted as we strive to improve this feature. First of all, it's not confusing at all.
No. Nothing in Pokemon Go is confusing. Nothing in Pokemon Go is confusing.
And what do you mean your underlying product goals? Having it be a functional game?
Actually, I take it back. Some of the gym stuff is a little confusing at first. You have to look into that. But certainly not the step track.
That's
feature.
BS.
Yeah,
that's total BS.
You guys, please
don't treat your audience like idiots.
Also, the feature was not working, so your goal should have been to have the patch that fixed that feature. Yeah, not to take the feature away to buy you more time to fix the feature. Yep. Because all that's going to do is make you hemorrhage players, which you are. Yeah. And I mean, it should also be noted that this game is very fad-like.
Absolutely.
So there was gonna be a huge player drop-off at some point anyway. And it was gonna probably come around now, but it's definitely...
It's the reason for it, though, that's the problem here.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like, do we know how many of those people are leaving in droves because they're like, oh, I played this game and I'm bored of it? And how many of them are leaving because the game doesn't work and they're sick of dealing with it. Yeah. So we don't really know that, but I would posit that it's like a very significant percentage of people that are leaving because the game does not work.
I would assume so. Will they come back when the game is fixed? Will the game ever be fixed?
That's the thing.
These are the questions.
It really depends how long it'll take them to fix it. If they come out on Monday, a couple days from now, and say, okay, we have it up and running in some capacity, like this feature, and here's another patch.
That's different.
Then I still am not happy with them, but, they're stepping in the right direction. They're 3 steps in the right direction. But I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think it's going to be like 2 weeks. And if it's 2 weeks, that's too long. That's far too long.
Yeah. They need to be on top of this. With something as successful as this, they really need to go the extra mile in supporting it. And thus far, it feels like at least they haven't really.
No.
Because they've been silent about a lot of stuff, too. And now that we're getting answers, they're very, PR answers. I'm like, oh, we're showing you, we're working on the thing. Like, it's
wasn't the guy who created Pokemon tweeted something about how he's so disappointed in that?
Oh, did he?
Yeah,
That's really funny.
I thought I read something about that. Like the Japanese gentleman who created Pokemon, was commented on the situation and said how disappointed he was.
Speaking of Pokemon, more stuff for Pokemon Sun and Moon got showed off.
Ooh.
It premiered a bunch of... This is an article from August 1st. They premiered a bunch of new human characters and interesting features in the game where you can like ride Pokemon to like get through certain areas. But it's not like in the old games where you just used a move and it's like, now you can go up the wall.
Oh yeah, because I was going to say, there's definitely a moves for this.
No, it's much more like active.
Oh, well that's
like
cool.
There's just Pokemon that can traverse certain terrain better than others, and you on the screen, your character actually rides them. And it looks really good. It looks very cool. And also, they showed off some new Pokemon.
Oh god.
Including returning old Pokemon that have been changed.
Yeah.
Because the Alola region, which modeled after like Hawaii in this game, where the whole one's going to take place, it's 4 islands, and they have unique versions of other Pokemon species on these islands.
That's kind of a fun idea.
I think so too. Bring back some of the old ones, but like mix things up a little bit at the same time.
Oh my god.
Including this beautiful guy right here.
This wonderful idiot.
They made Executor way better by making him 60 feet tall.
They basically made Giraffe Executor.
He's awesome. His 4th head is on his butt and hangs off his tail. And he is now grass and dragon type.
I didn't realize they changed his type.
They changed a lot of their typings for these different versions.
Wasn't he psychic originally?
Yes.
Oh.
He's grass psychic, and now he's grass dragon.
I don't know. I think
he's a dragon.
I like the idea of grass psychic a little better. That's just me.
They mix it up a little bit, though. I think he's really cool.
He's so derpy. I mean, he was already derpy. It's like they took his character design. Yeah, they took his character design, and they're like, how do we make him derpier?
Yeah.
And
they stretch him out.
And they did it.
But it works because it's on a tropical island.
He looks like a palm tree.
He's like a big, tall palm tree.
It's great.
Like, real palm trees are super tall, so it makes sense. I don't know if Execute's going to look any different, or that's still going to be the same, and it just evolves differently, because they didn't show it off. We have the new version of Vulpix and Ninetales.
Which look rad.
They look great. And Vulpix has changed from a fire type to an ice type, because they live on snowy mountains in this area, and they change typing from fire. And Ninetales now is ice and fairy type, instead of just being fire type. They got the new Sandshrew, who is ice steel.
Oh, I love the design, because he looks like he has a little hood.
Yeah, he's cute.
This is fun.
And then he evolves into Sandslash.
Which looks so cool.
He looks awesome. He's got big ice spikes on his back.
Yeah.
And he has his big metal claws. And the typing stays the same as ice steel. They showed off some new ones, too.
Oh, the birds.
These little dancing birds.
Funny dancing birds.
Which are a super cool idea, because in the tropics they have those birds that do like mating dances.
Yeah.
And they took that idea and gave us 4 different versions of that they all do a different style of dance, and are different types. One of them is Flying Ghost and does like a Japanese fan dance thing.
Oh.
One of them is Flying Psychic and does a hula.
Yeah.
One of them is Flying Electric and is like a cheerleader with like big pom-pom feathers.
That was a little dumb. I was like cheerleader?
That's and then we've got a Fire Flying type that does like salsa dancing.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah. They showed this goofy little donkey guy who's the earlier form of the big, like, Clydesdale horse-looking one.
Wow, that's funny. Before. He does just straight up look like a donkey.
Yeah, he's just a donkey.
Okay.
This cool little meteor guy.
Ooh.
Who's like, he's like a rock, but when he hits 50% health, the rocks fall off, and he transforms into a, like, super fast form.
Oh, that's
that looks
fun.
different. Yeah, so he's got a little mechanic in there. And we got the evolved form of the goofy little mongoose guy we saw before.
Oh, yeah.
Young Goose, who evolves into Gumshoos. And looks kind of like a weird, like, Donald Trump detective.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about his design.
I'm not really sure about that one. And we have a new grass type that is clearly modeled after, like, an orchid mantis.
Yeah.
That looks really cool. It has, like, an early stage and then an evolved form. So I think overall these new Pokemon continue to be pretty cool.
Yeah, pretty solid designs.
And I like them bringing back old ones with different typing as well. I think that's a really interesting idea. And I hope there's more than just Vulpix, Sandshrew, and Executor. I hope we see some more of those.
Yeah.
Could get interesting. Executor's my favorite.
Oh my god.
A lot of people hate him and say he looks too stupid, but he's just stupid enough.
Just stupid enough.
Just right. And you watch the trailer, you can see some of his animations, and they're really goofy, because he, sweeps his neck around and stuff.
We're running a little low on time.
We are running a little low on time, but we don't have too much left.
Oh, okay. This is pretty quick.
Yeah.
Overwatch has released some more skins for your characters.
They're doing a Summer Games special thing for the next... It started, earlier this week, and it's going on for, another 2 weeks or so, for the Olympic Games.
In Rio.
So basically, and now, during that time period, anytime you earn a loot box in Overwatch, or buy a loot box, you can choose to either open a regular one, or open a Summer Games loot box, which includes special limited-time-only sprays and character skins and stuff.
Exclusive.
That are all, Olympics-themed. So there's goofy sprays of, each of the characters doing a different Olympic sport. My favorite is Reaper dirt biking.
Of course you would dirt bike.
He looks super stupid and radical, flipping up on the bike. But they're pretty good. Zarya, Tracer, and Lucio all got, real new skins, whereas some other characters just got skins that are just recolors that look like their nation's flag. So, Genji got, a Japanese flag skin, and McCree got an America skin, which is amazing because it makes his belt buckle say USA, and his poncho is just an American flag.
That's great.
A lot of people love that one. So it's cool. So if you feel like playing some Overwatch, do it. You might get some cool stuff that's, a limited time only thing. They also have a special game type called Lucio Ball, where everyone has to be Lucio, and there's a special soccer arena for it, with curved walls, so you can, wall ride with his, rollerblade things. And the whole objective is it's a 3-on-3 soccer game where you have to use his sonic gun to shoot the soccer ball into the other team's goal.
Nice.
It's really cool,
That's
and it's,
fun.
a way different game type.
Yeah.
And you still get experience for doing it that you can put towards the loot boxes. Also, Overwatch has topped 15 million active players.
We all expected it.
That's a lot.
It's
There's already logged 500 million hours of playtime. Wowie zowie.
What was WoW at its peak for active players?
14 million active subscribers.
Yeah.
So I think Overwatch has beaten out WoW as far as mass appeal.
Blizzard, you've done it again.
They did it again. A new patch came out for it recently too that's changed some stuff, and the game continues to just be really good. And it's cool to see them surprise us with this Summer Games thing too, because hopefully that means they'll do more events like that in the future, because this kind of just came out. There wasn't a whole lot of hubbub about it before it was released. They weren't hey, we're gonna do a thing. They're just hey, here's Summer Games, check it out. Got a little bit of new information for the new Prey game from QuakeCon. You will be able to play as a male or female character.
Nice.
With the same name. So you're Morgan Yu either way. But you can choose who you want to play, what gender you want to play as, which is pretty neat. And wasn't something I really expected from this game.
Does that mean we get to see those cool cutscenes with either gender?
I think so.
That'd be neat.
I'm assuming that that's what that would mean. We also got a little more information about the game. You're a test subject for human experiments on this space station, and the aliens are mimics. So they're these black, smoky-looking creatures that are shown in that first trailer. There's a new trailer out that actually shows some gameplay. And they can transform into, anything. So in the gameplay trailer, you see, a little spider one, turn into a chair. So the whole game, anything could be an enemy.
Yeah.
They can turn into any part of the environment. So you're going to start being scared of lamps and stuff.
See, this is great, too, because one of the things that I love to do in shooters that have objects that can, if you shoot them, they'll, fly off the table or whatever, is just shoot everything.
Yeah. Now this game gives you a reason to shoot everything.
Reason to. Although, probably, considering this game is a little more hardcore, there's probably finite ammo, so doing that is likely a really bad idea.
They've shown that the game's more or less a first-person shooter. It looks to be taking a lot of cues from, System Shock and things like that, as you're going to have, a neural mod thing that has, an RPG element to, modify your character's stats and give you other abilities, besides just shooting stuff.
Yeah.
Other than that, it looks like you just fight some cool shape-shifting aliens. And the story still seems interesting. There's more going on than we know.
Sounds great.
The narration on the new trailer is, very interesting, just like the little bits of dialogue in the first one were, so...
Cool.
Awesome. I'm really excited about this game, actually. The more I see of it. Seems really cool. We have our voter story this week.
Oh, we're ending on the best thing. So, this is a story, it's out of the Korean Herald, I think.
Yeah, I found it on Destructoid here.
Yeah, well, it was... I think it happened like last week or something, and Destructoid talked about it this week because that was when they heard about it.
Yep, they link back to the Korea Herald.
Yeah, and it's great. Basically, a 33-year-old Korean man...
Wasn't he a Chinese guy?
Oh, maybe he was Chinese. Chinese man.
Yep.
Staying with his older brother in South Korea for 3 months. He
got real drunk.
And he got angry because he suffers from game addiction, or at least he feels he suffers from game addiction.
At least.
From all those free-to-play games and their microtransactions. And he was just so mad about that he got in his friend's car, his older brother's car, and drove it into the offices of a game studio.
Nexon, specifically. The game publisher.
Yeah, now no one was injured.
Yep. He just kind of drove into the lobby.
There's a great picture of it.
He sure did it. It also looks like he didn't just keep going. He kind of drove in and then just stopped in the middle of the lobby.
I imagine that because he was so drunk, his car just sort of kept lurching forward. Like people who don't know how to drive very well.
Yeah.
Like the kind of tapping on the brake incessantly and stuff.
So you don't think he floored it through the front?
I don't think so.
Yeah, probably not, I guess. Because then he definitely would have kept going.
And he would have probably been injured.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he was just so upset because all these...
They got him addicted to video games. The publisher of Maple Story and Cliffy B's Lawbreakers ruined his life.
Maple Story, another episode of Maple Story ruining someone's life.
I mean, that's par for the course at this point.
But no.
Maple Story is a slow and insidious killer.
But yeah, I thought that was so funny.
It's a very funny little story.
But
kind of sad at the same time, though.
Yeah.
Kind of makes me want to know more about this guy.
I think he really needs to get his life together a little bit.
It seems that way.
But,
good luck to you, 33-year-old Chinese man.
I'm also really glad no one was hurt.
Yeah, that's the good thing. Because I'd imagine this guy would have been racked with horrible guilt had he injured somebody in this whole thing.
He needs to go to Game Players Anonymous. He needs to get this addiction under control.
Is that a thing?
Or he could just go to Alcoholics Anonymous, because that also seems to be a problem that he has. But
I suppose that's true.
I hope he gets the help he needs. Let's talk about upcoming games.
Indeed.
So, like we said earlier, on the 9th... No Man's Sky. Coming out for PS4 on the 9th.
Yes, on PC is a few days later?
The 12th.
12th,
yes. What else is coming out? I mean, nothing else relevant.
I mean, yeah, not really.
Uno is coming out for the Windows PC.
Is that the card game Uno?
I really hope that's all it is.
That is what it is?
It's exactly what it is.
It's the card game
Uno. It's coming out for Windows, PS4, and Xbone, because I know what you were thinking.
Some Japanese
Why can't I play Uno on my Xbone?
Some shmup game is coming out on PS4.
Oh, I didn't realize that was a shmup.
Paladrius Blaze.
Well, that does kind of sound like
that's
a shmup.
That's a shmup title.
Yeah, totally. Well, that could be cool.
It's Ray Gigant. Some Japanese game.
I don't know.
Basically No Man's Sky.
No Man's Sky is coming out, everyone.
So, hopefully it'll be good. I hope it's good. I want to like it.
I really, yeah. Maybe, you know what we might do?
What might we do?
We might use some of our amazing Patreon monies to purchase a copy of No Man's Sky. That won't be very soon, though. That won't be for when it is released. It'll probably be like in September or something. We will do that. But we might be doing that, because that's what we're thinking of doing with some of our Patreon money, is getting some games so then you guys can see us play or review these games.
Yeah.
That's how we get back to the community.
Because I'm getting the game on PS4. But if we got a PC copy, it would be much easier to stream.
Oh, yeah. But, yeah, so that has basically been the show. We're out of time.
Yeah.
Dan, once again, cannot talk about Inside.
I can't talk about Inside.
I'm sorry.
Wait, I'm going to talk about Inside in like 30 seconds.
Okay.
I played Inside. It's way better than Limbo. I still wasn't blown away by it. The first, 2.5 to 3 hours of the game, I was like, yeah, this is fine. This is a pretty okay puzzle game, whatever. Last half hour, oh my god, amazing. Okay. I was laughing my ass off, but I feel like I wasn't supposed to be.
Ooh.
I think I was supposed to be more disturbed than I was. So I don't know if it speaks something to me, says something about me that I wasn't, but I really enjoyed it.
Well, good.
And I don't regret playing it. And if you give it a shot, play the whole thing. Because that end sequence is really a treat. It's something very special.
Nice. So we have been Don't Copy That Floppy with your hosts, Lex and Dan. We can be found on all sorts of social media. Please like and follow and subscribe to us on things such as Facebook, Twitter, Steam, YouTube, and iTunes. We've got full show archives up on iTunes and on the chipit.net site.
Yes, sir.
Also, check out that site. It's great. There's Chipit music 24/7 on it. Unless we're broadcasting, which is Friday, 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. There's also other shows on chipit.net, such as Remix Mondays. I didn't really mean to say it like that. I just sort of stumbled into saying it like that. Yeah. Which is some cool chiptune music. Remixed. Sounds pretty sweet. Obviously broadcasting on Mondays. Also, there is a show up there called Inner Geek, which is me and my good friend Andrew talking about comic books and comic book movies and other sort of geeky related things. Yeah, it's cool. That has a few episodes up. Check them out. And if you would like to support our show, we would be indebted to you forever. You can check us out on Patreon.
Please do.
There are all sorts of cool reward tiers. You can get to vote on stories we do every week. You can get special bonus content. You can get sexy voicemail if you really want. And
you gotta really want it.
You gotta really want it.
It's a pretty high reward tier.
But yeah, so please support us on there. It would be great. And I think that's
I will just add, if you like the show, or just decide to check us out on iTunes, either way, please leave a review.
Oh yeah, rate and review on there.
Rate and review us on there. So even if you don't listen to our archive on iTunes, if you listen to the show regularly and enjoy it, please just go check it out for that purpose. We would really appreciate it.
So good.
And without further ado, remember, don't copy that floppy.